In this video tutorial, we'll be explaining the pheatmap package in R. The first thing you're going to need to do is use these two packages to help read in the data. Get the actual pheatmap package, and these two packages will help with color schemes for the heat maps. So first we need to load in the dataset. The data that we're using contains information on every MLB game that has been played since 2010. A link to this dataset is provided in the description below. Here we make a table where the MLB teams are the rows and the day of the week is the column, and the average attendance is contained in the cell value.
So we are going to be explaining what the pheatmap library can do in R, but what it's actually going to be representing are heat maps. The P just actually stands for pretty. So heat maps are a useful tool to represent a lot of data in one single visualization. They come in handy when you have two categorical variables and a quantitative variable. The quantitative values are represented by a colored box where the two categorical variables intersect. The colors are based on a color scale, which shows how high or low the specific value is compared to the rest of the data. Now, heat maps are efficient because they make it simple to see patterns in data all in one place. For example, here's a bar plot and an average attendance by day of the week for the Los Angeles Angels looks like. So as you can see, the bar plot gives us the information that we're looking for, but we're not looking at a lot of data. We're only looking at the Los Angeles Angels game attendance and no other teams. But what if we wanted to see graphs for the attendance for every Major League Baseball team by day of the week? Making 30 bar plots is an option, but comparing them all at once would be a very difficult task. Instead, we could make a heat map using the R package pheatmap. You can see here, we're pulling up the heat map, and as you can see, there's an average attendance by day of the week for every single MLB team, all in one simple graph. The previous bar plot has now been condensed to the first rows of the heat map and can now be easily compared to the averages of attendance of the rest of the teams, but it's still a little bit hard to look at. The first thing that we notice is that each cell is a little bit too narrow. We can use the argument cell width and cell height to change the size of each cell. For example, we'll change the cell width to 65 and the cell height to 17. As you can see in this example of the pheatmap, the cells are a lot larger and a lot easier to see to scale. But what is this data that we are showing? It would help to add a title to the heat map, and we can do that with the main argument for title.
Let's get into further customizing our heat map. So we can do this by changing the color argument right here. So right now we're changing it to green-red, and let's see what that does. And as you can see, we've changed the color of our heat map. Okay, so that color was pretty ugly, so we're going to try another color. We're going to try Inferno, and that is actually from this package. So let's go ahead and run that. And as you can see, we have pretty colors. So now let's look into changing the border color. We can change the border color to better distinguish each cell. We can do this by adding the border color argument. So in this case, I think white would be the best because we'd be able to see each cell clearly. And if we go over to our example, now we can better distinguish between each cell.
If you wanted to add a little more detail to know the exact average attendance by day, you can add the number values for each cell by setting the display number argument to true, and we're going to set the number color to white. So let's run this. And as you can see, now we have the average attendance for each team by the day of the week printed inside the cells. We can also cluster the rows and columns in a certain order. Here we can use the clustering distance rows argument and set it equal to maximum in order to order the teams by highest to lowest average attendance. So hopefully this video has taught you how to quickly make a heat map from some data using the pheatmap R package. If you want to learn more about customizing your heat maps, check out the link in the description. Thank you for watching.